guys from work who won't shut up about football, but are pretty damn entertaining? Well, they decided to buy a couple microphones. And with that, we welcome you to the CheesyCorn Sports Podcast, where Justin Adams and Martin Cheney wrangle over everything college football and NFL. Bold predictions, hot takes, and live game reactions. This is CheesyCorn Sports.
Welcome one and all. Welcome back to CheesyCorn Sports. I'm Cheese, that's Corn, that way. And this week, it's week 6. I'm back. Yes, sir. We already got Derek in the chat. What is up, my man? Great to be back. We got Mr. Space City over there, rocking one of the best city-themed City Connect jerseys.
Each time.
What they're called? The City Connects?
Yeah, City Connects.
Yeah. There's
That's
Malibu.
Malibu.
Debut appearance.
Adopted her 2 days ago.
He's such a pretty dog.
She's just hanging out. She's half husky, half shepherd. She got the husky coloring and all the shedding that come along with it.
Yeah, get yourself a Roomba.
That's what I was just picking off my microphone. Well, I already deal with it enough with Gunner, so I'm used to it. But now I got a mixture of like different color hairs. So
for sure.
Darker.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're back. I'm back. I missed you all last week, except for a couple select individuals that were that took the opportunity to go and try and kick a man while he's down. While I was not here to defend myself.
Scared your grandma?
Yeah. So due to the slanderous and erroneous claims of me not coming back to the show, it caused my grandparents who listened to the show to reach out to me and say, is everything okay? We heard that you're not doing CheesyCorn anymore. And I was
apologize.
Like, no,
I apologize, Grandma.
I am.
Apologize, grandparents. I did not mean that.
It's all good. It's all good. I had a laugh about it.
Yeah. So. That was pretty funny, though. I'm not going
to lie. Yeah.
Anyway. Scaring grandparents all over the world, you know.
Absolutely.
Wasn't my intention, but it's what I'm doing. So.
All right. So week 6 of the NFL, we are after this week, we'll be a third of the way done with the season.
That's depressing.
We will be upon the fantasy playoffs before you know it. We're actually about almost halfway done with the fantasy season. Well, regular season before we get to playoffs. So this is around the time of year where we really need to start acknowledging the mindset adjustment that goes into how you manage your teams, how you attack trades. Trade deadlines and leagues are coming up, as well as probably the adjustment in how you need to start looking at rookies with that upside, because that second half of the season is where they start to put it all together.
Yep. We get to see who's for real and who ain't.
Yes. But we will get to that. To start.
Eventually.
Yeah. To start, I will not be here for the entire show. Got to go into work. Got to pay the bills somehow. Unfortunately not able to do, CheesyCorn full time as much as I would fucking love to. But that's okay. That's okay. I acknowledge that I am a product of the situation that I have put myself in. So
work.
Yeah. So let's get into the stuff for this week, right? So while I'm here, we're going to go over each of our starts for each position. We're going to go over our sits of the week for each position. We're going to go over our underdogs of the week. We're going to go our locks of the week. Yep. And of course, just like always, we're here to answer your guys' questions. Any start-sit decisions, any trade offers that you guys have, any of that stuff. So make sure you guys hit the like button on the stream, share it with your friends. Follow us on all socials as well. Our Twitter or our X handles are listed down below, as well as on the screens.
It's pretty lit on my Twitter.
Justin is lit on both his Twitter and his Facebook, but yeah.
I was going after YouTube boxing fans yesterday.
Yeah.
'Cause they don't got a clue.
I think I personally, just like growing up, I missed the wave of boxing and UFC really in general.
Mhm.
And so after a while, like everyone was into it, and I just kind of viewed it as, oh, it's too late for me to hop into it. I don't want to like, because
Yeah,
when I dive into something, I want to like fully immerse myself into it.
yeah,
And at this point, like I'm so immersed into other stuff, I could not give it the full
yeah.
dedication that I know like real boxing fans do.
Right, yeah. I
So
actually started watching the UFC when I was, like, 14. The Ultimate Fighter 1. Before
mhm,
the Forrest Griffin, Stephan Bonnar fight that put everybody on game, I was a big Chris Lieben fan. Actually
yeah.
met Chris Lieben in Bahrain. Um,
Okay.
but yeah, so I've just been you can ask Derek how long I've been we used to have a UFC video game, tournaments at my house in high school for that old UFC, the best one they ever made, so yeah, it's been a minute, and then Derek remembers me fist fighting Robbie in the hallway over video games. So yeah, man, it's been a lot of fighting for me.
Well, it's good to know nothing's changed for you over the
Yeah,
years.
exactly. You know, some things except I've actually gotten good at fighting.
There you go. There
So
you go.
oh, Duck's already got a question. We ain't even broke out the damn cards yet.
I love it. I love it. Let's get to it. Let's answer our question just
Do
to
it.
start us off, just to get us into the feel of things, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
Kirk Cousins versus the Bears or Justin Fields versus Minnesota. I'm leaning Fields because Cousins is
Fields.
without Jefferson.
Well, I'm leaning Fields.
Do you want to go right into into your start of the week there?
I'm leaning Fields.
Let's go with it right now. Justin,
There you
talk to us
go.
about your
Oh, couldn't find it.
QB start of the week.
Justin Fields versus Minnesota because duh. It's gonna be probably a shootout. Justin Fields has the rushing upside that Kirk Cousins don't. I know a lot of people are saying start Kirk Cousins, but I'm on the opposite Justin Fields because I think he'll have basically the entire offense um on his legs, essentially. You know, he's been throwing the ball, maybe get a little confidence throwing the ball lately, and you know, getting some camaraderie there. But they got to keep it. They got to keep their offense consistent in this game to keep up. And even if they don't, garbage time, Justin Field points. So I think no matter what, you're going to get a great game out of Fields.
There is no better combo than Justin Fields and garbage time points.
Nope.
So yeah, personally, I think this entire game is a fantasy goldmine.
Yeah.
Personally, I think that's where the only real relevance in this entire matchup
Sure,
lies. But yeah, no, I think if you have Justin Fields, start him over Kirk Cousins.
Yep.
If you have Kirk Cousins but not Justin Fields, you're starting Kirk Cousins. I
Fire
think
him up.
if you have DJ Moore, obviously start him. If you have KJ Osborne, flex him. If you have Jordan Addison, wide receiver 2 or flex, whatever your situation entails. I mean, hell, Alexander Madison. Like, if there was any week to start Alexander Madison,
It's this one.
is this week, right? Chicago and Minnesota, both two of the worst defenses, not just in the division, not just in the conference, but in the entire league.
Yep.
So start all of your guys this week because that's gonna. Well,
It's gonna be a shootout, baby.
yeah,
Wild
it's
Wild
gonna
West
be a
style.
shootout for sure. So, but
All right. Appreciate the
I hope
question.
that answered your question, Derek. And
Justin
we
had him
can.
in that deadly headlock. Oh yeah, dude. I put Robbie. Robbie was way bigger than me, so I had to throw him in a quick headlock. He was like 4 times my size. And we were fighting over NCAA because he was I was screen peeking and he got mad, I think. Right, he's running the same, I think, or was he running the same play over and over, or was it me? I can't remember. One of us was running the same play over and over, I think. It was like a halfback screen or some shit.
Yeah.
But
Yep. Derek said he's banking on Hawkinson getting more looks. Jefferson. Yeah. Hawkinson was eating with Justin Jefferson. It's only like any like legitimate logic would suggest that TJ Hawkinson is going to eat without
He's about to go
Justin
crazy.
Jefferson.
He's about to go crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for your questions.
Well,
if we're going to start with QB starts of the week, we'll just roll right into mine then, right? And then we'll go position by position here with our starts, and then we'll go position by position with our sits, and then we can get into the actual matchups too.
Yes, sir.
My start of the week is going to be Matthew Stafford of the Los Angeles Rams up against the Arizona Cardinals this week. This is like, trust me, this is the most basic of thinking that you can get in fantasy football. Quarterback that throws the ball a lot plus bad defense that he's playing equals fantasy points. That is some what's the fucking math movie where he's a janitor? Good Will Hunting
movie?
Yeah, Good Will Hunting, right?
Oh, I don't know. I've never seen that.
Ben Affleck.
I'm not a movie guy. You know that.
I know the movie. I just for some reason couldn't think of the title, which is actually wild because that's a classic. Anyway, Matthew Stafford against the Arizona Cardinals. He's gonna eat. He has Cooper Kupp back. You know, we saw Cooper Kupp immediately reinsert himself into that offense last week.
Yeah, buddy.
Still has Puka Nacua. Tutu Atwell still caught a touchdown last week as well. Kyron Williams is still a top 5 running back so far on the season, which I don't think anyone called that outside of like his like biased like mother, you know?
Yeah, so, that would probably he probably didn't even think he would do that.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to post the stream up, guys. If y'all wonder what I'm doing, I'm trying to put it up on my Instagram.
So, but yeah, Matthew Stafford is going to eat against the Cardinals. I actually think that Josh Dobbs is going to keep this game closer.
Yeah.
Which is going to mean more passing work for both offenses. And so
I'll trade him to you if you want.
Who's that? Josh Dobbs? No, that's okay.
Y'all laughed at me when I picked him up when they named him the starter 6 days before the season. I picked him up. Y'all laughing at me.
It's so just out of left field. Not like the actual pickup, like once it happened, but just like him stepping onto the scene and he is the Geno Smith of last year, right?
Yeah, I liked him at Tennessee. I really didn't think he would be all that good at Arizona, but it was like a QB1 at open roster spots. I'm like, I'm never going to pass on a QB1.
Yeah.
So
personally, I thought that he should have at least been given a chance in Pittsburgh. But for some reason they went with Mason Rudolph, which I have never seen do anything substantial in the NFL other than take a nasty hit from Myles Garrett once.
Yep. That's about all he's done.
That's literally it. It's like Sanchez being known for the butt fumble. Like that is what Mason Rudolph is known for.
Mason Rudolph, bro.
Yeah.
What a guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, all Derek. Right. Kupp did waste no time, but what people don't really realize is that watching that game last week, Kupp had about 5 catches for 60-something yards on the very first drive. And he finished with probably about 8-10 catches, something like that.
I can pull up Cooper Kupp's numbers.
But the thing is, the reason I think he'll have a better week this week, and I think Puka Nacua kind of got that a little extra work last week, but after the first drive, their offense was stymied for a lot of that game, and their possessions were very limited. They were running the clock a ton, or the other team was running the clock a ton. So by the time that their offense came out, they were 3 and out, or they just were limited on possessions. And then Puka Nacua got a lot of work on those little short passes while they were having trouble moving the ball. So I expect him to have a better game this week just because I think he's going to get a little more work just because of that factor. I think the game script is going to determine that. And when they're looking to go a little bit more up the field, I think they're going to go a little bit more Cooper Kupp's direction. And I think he's going to get, like I said, a lot more work this week because I think he had 5 of 6 of the receptions on the first drive. So I expect more of that trend to continue. So we'll see. But the game script, I think, actually limited him last week. So
For sure. And Cup's limited numbers last week: 12 targets, 8 catches for 118 yards.
Yeah. So 5 of those came on the first drive. 5 of those 8.
Yeah.
And then I think like the 3 came on the last drive or something.
If you had the patience to go through and roster Cooper Kupp and wait for him to finally come back, you deserve everything that's coming your way.
I had no Kupp, no Eckler, no Jones, Aaron Jones.
Yep.
But I managed 3 and 2. I'll take that.
Yep. And let's see. Puka supremacy. My little Pookie is still going strong. Absolutely love that.
He's very good. I find myself rooting for him a lot, but now I'm trying not to because I need to root for Cooper Kupp.
You know what's funny is I find myself enjoying this Rams team this year a lot more than I enjoyed their Super Bowl team.
I do too, with like Robert Woods and them. Yeah,
they're just a lot. They're just more fun to watch.
They are. They really are.
I don't even. Yeah, but
a lot more fun to watch. I agree. No doubt. Okay, so let's
get into our running back starts of the week. Yeah,
that's what I was about to say. Let's get it to our running backs.
You want to pull yours up?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
All right, I'm trying to share the stream across all.
We're doing the start of the week, right?
Yeah, starts. We're gonna go like position by position for all the starts, and then we'll go position by position for all the sits.
Okay, where's my running back start? Dude, why can I not find anything right now? My running back start was Travis Etienne, if it's on here.
Yeah, I'm not seeing yours either.
All right, well, my
Travis
start of the week,
I'll create a banner real quick.
Travis Etienne. Yeah, I got him listed as RB3 this week. I think he's gonna have a great game. For me, Etienne he's gonna be a little inconsistent, kind of like how he has been his entire career. But I think against Indy today, I think he's gonna have a great game. Like I said, I got him at RB3, and I feel very confident in him this week. So probably the most confident of upside guys in the top 10. So I was trying to go, if I'm going to use a top 10 guy, I want to go with the guy I think is going to have the most upside right now, and outside of the normal Christian McCaffreys and stuff. So Etienne is my RB3 this week.
Perfect. Love that. All right. So for the starts and sits this week, I wanted to find people that are generally outside of that like top 10 area.
Yeah.
Because we can sit here and say, oh, start of the week, Christian McCaffrey. Like,
it's hard with running backs,
right?
It's just hard with running backs because there's a certain number of guys that get all the work, and outside of that, you're just hoping at a dart throw on one of these guys that's all of a sudden going to get playing time or get a touchdown. That's hard to predict.
Are you ready for my dart throw then?
Oh shit! Here we go.
Chuba Hubbard at Miami.
Well, I mean, he's going to get to work, so Miles Sanders is out. Yeah.
Yep, that's 100% it. But even with Miles Sanders, even if he was in, there was a snap trend.
Don't do that to Miles Sanders. Don't do that. I'm trying to be patient. I don't want to hear no stats.
Hold on now. I'm gonna rain on your parade a little bit here. Okay.
No, I don't. I said don't want to hear no stats. Do that. Whoops.
Let me pull him up here. Here's Chuba Hubbard. All right. So for the first 3 weeks, right? Chuba Hubbard was consistently getting less than 10 opportunities a game. He was getting, he had 7 touches week 2, only 3 touches week 3. He did have 11 touches week 1, but that's whatever.
Look at that offense, bro.
Right. And it was a 66 to 33-ish snap share between Miles Sanders and Chuba Hubbard.
Bryce Young is still trying to hit his growth spurt. Okay. Give him a break.
The man's 20. If it's not coming by now, I have some news for him. I don't think he's ready to hear.
I told people that he wasn't a good draft pick.
Yeah. But so that was the snap share for weeks 1 through 3. Weeks 4 and 5, with Miles Sanders still in, it became a lot more of around that 50-50 snap share. Chuba Hubbard actually had the majority, like a 54% snap share with 16 touches week 4. And then he followed it up with 10 touches last week with about a 48% snap share. So there's a tiny little shift, right? But that was with Miles Sanders in. Now you have Miles Sanders out. And Miami's strength has not been their defense. It's been their offense, right? They're basically the USC of the NFL. Just beat the dog shit out of their opponent offensively and then allow the defense to give up their 21, 28 points on defense. But it's okay. You still win by multiple possessions.
USC got beat yesterday.
I loved every second of it. Shout out Sam Hartman. Still on that train, by the way.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, so Chuba Hubbard likely to lead the backfield today.
Miles Sanders is out.
Yeah, Miles Sanders is out.
Which is why I had to trade for a running back yesterday.
Yeah, Chuba Hubbard is a good start for the week, either as a flex option if you can afford it, or as an RB2. Say you have, I don't know, Aaron Jones as your running back, and look, a bye week's here. You know what I mean? Like,
wow, this is oddly specific on this episode, Cheney.
Look, man,
I had Aaron Jones on a bye week.
Following
Miles Sanders hurt, so I had to trade for who the hell did I even trade for yesterday? I don't know. Whoever it was, I got him with Kendrick Bourne, so he can't be that good.
Savon Ahmed.
Savon Ahmed. That's right. Yeah. Who?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. That's what I thought.
Shout out to his 6-game stretch in 2020 where it was actually decent.
I had to trade Ken Walker for Tyreek Hill. It was Ken Walker and Christian Kirk for Tyreek Hill. Even though I was in running back pain, I could not pass the opportunity on Tyreek. Sorry. John Quinn.
Johnny Quinn in the chat. KJ Osborne
Addison.
or Jordan Addison. I have my answer. I'll let you
Addison.
go with yours first.
Addison.
Okay. Addison. Pretty simple. And, I really
starting it next month, John. November 5th-ish or something like that.
I really hate to agree with you, Justin.
Jordan Addison?
Jordan Addison's my wide receiver start of the week.
Dude, I haven't even looked at your start still.
I just glanced at yours 5 minutes before we got live.
Yeah. I was having audio issues for everybody wondering why I wasn't prepped.
Yeah. Wide receiver start of the week, Jordan Addison. Already alluded to it when we talked about the Kirk Cousins versus Justin Fields thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's whoever you have in this game, start him. It's that simple.
Yep.
Deontay Foreman, who's going to be in for the injured both Khalil Herbert and Roshan Johnson, start him. Minnesota is not a good defensive football team.
Texans legend Deontay Foreman. We drafted him.
That's true.
And never used him. Really annoying.
Yep. But yeah, Jordan Addison, I think he's about to blow up. He's hitting that second half of the season, which is notorious for these rookies to really make their stamp on their rookie season.
I don't know if Jordan Addison is going to be what people thought he was going to be, though. I never really was a big Addison guy.
If he is,
this week
this is the time to find out.
He's going to go off this week. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, but he has been elevated the first 5 weeks through some long touchdowns.
Yeah.
Which is good. I mean, that falls right into Kirk Cousins wheelhouse, right?
Yeah, you just want a PPR solid PPR guy.
Yeah. Yeah. But
you don't have
looking back, I certainly think Zay Flowers over Jordan Addison coming into the season was probably a better play. Which I had Jordan Addison ranked higher, but yeah,
I think that one's probably going to be a couple-year battle. I don't know who is going to, separate themselves, but I do think Addison, this is his week to just show what he's capable of.
Yeah. Although Zay Flowers does have a touchdown this morning in London.
Yeah.
So
did D-Hop do anything yet?
D-Hop has not done anything, and I'm playing D-Hop in a league, and I'd really rather him not continue. He has one catch for 20 yards.
He's really annoying me. Yeah, I saw earlier. It's big play, and I'm like, oh, let me go check how he's doing. Oh, 3 points, cool.
I logged into StreamYard, logged into Sleeper, and I saw points being scored, and I was like, hold on, wait a minute.
It's not his fault. I mean, Tannehill's 7 for 14 with 67 yards. Are you
Yeah,
kidding me?
it's not. This is not a pretty game at all.
I need the Ravens to pull away and D-Hop to just get peppered targets. But I will say he has the most targets on the team right now, 4.
Yep.
Westbrook Akine has 3, Moore 1, Phillips 1. So that's it, dude. Their offense, my Lord, it's so bad.
All right. You want to get into your wide receiver start of the week?
Let's do it, buddy.
Go ahead.
All right. My wide receiver start of the week is Nico Collins. Reason being, Tank Dell is out. We do not have a deep receiver core whatsoever. We don't even have a true wide receiver 1. I love Nico, but like we don't have that like X factor receiver, which makes what CJ Stroud's doing even more impressive to me, because I don't think people understand how hard it is to command an offense as a rookie QB with a bad offensive line and no wide receiver 1. So it's been a mixture of Tank and Nico as the wide receiver 1. But again, Tank out, concussion protocol, all that mess. So Nico is the guy. I know the Saints' pass defense is very stingy. I think they're 4th in the league. So very good, but I just think Nico is going to just be the focus of this offense because he has to be. You know what I'm saying? Though, Derek, listen to my reasoning. I just said that they were a good defense. However, who else are we going to throw to? Like Robert Woods is there, but like Robert Woods is okay. He's getting a couple catches on the sideline here and there, but you know, who else are we going to throw to? We can't run the ball. So, you know, because what they're doing is they're just keeping everything in front of them. And then, you know, they're getting over the top on Tank Dell, but then they're daring us to throw the ball underneath. So they're not letting our run game get going. And, you know, so it's going to be a heavy dose of Nico. I just think, Derek, I don't necessarily think it's going to be maybe because he's really beating y'all, like we're going to be up 2 touchdowns or something. I just think like there's potential that he can get garbage time, you know, points and or just PPR points from just being the guy that's getting targeted over and over. So I get you're a Saints fan, Derek. Shut up. But yeah, Texans in 4.
That's funny. Yeah. So we'll talk more on that Texans and Saints matchup here in a little bit.
Yeah. How long are you here for?
Let's wrap it up with our final positional starts of the week. And it's a rare occurrence that Justin and I mutually have the same idea without talking about it first, right?
Yep.
This was we
don't
put
talk
our
about
starts
these.
and sits completely separately.
Yep.
Didn't talk about
rankings
them
and everything.
Zach Ertz, baby.
Yeah.
Zach fucking Ertz. Zach Ertz has been a thorn in the side of every Trey McBride truther, every yeah.
He's in my flex right now.
Who's that? Zach Ertz or Trey McBride?
Ertz.
Oh, okay, there you go. Zach Ertz has 3 of his 5 games this year with 8 or more targets. He had 6 catches in all of those 3 games, 50 or more yards in 2 of those games. He only has one touchdown on the year, right?
Yep.
But
that could change.
He is completely the tight end 1 in this offense, and he is not as washed as people thought he would be.
What do we always say with these new quarterbacks? Like they are going to target the tight ends,
security blankets. That's
especially
what it
a veteran like Ertz.
Any half competent head coach dealing with a rookie quarterback needs to tell them, all right, look, you need to get the ball out of your hand quickly. You need to make a decision. Like that's the primary focus. Take the snap, make your first read, maybe make your second read, find your check down. Whether that check down is your tight end or your running back out of the backfield, find it. Or if you're athletic, fucking run. Run. And that's like the primary focus.
Yep.
So
yeah, but the like we called that same thing like with CJ Stroud, However, we didn't expect CJ Stroud to be able to immediately come in and make NFL throws, down the field and be able to pick apart a defense as if he's a veteran QB. So he really didn't need to rely on his tight end so far because he's built up a good foundation as a quarterback already and is able to kind of make some of those throws. I mean, his throws are unbelievable. But yeah, so it's just one of those things. It's like typically these tight ends are heavy usage guys with these new quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, with that being said, right, we got the Corn tight end start of the week, also Zach Ertz.
Yeah, buddy.
We just talked about it. We don't need to continue to harp on it. The Rams are actually doing very well defensively against receivers in fantasy football, but they are giving up, I think, the third or fourth most points to the tight end position on a per game basis.
Pull that up.
Per week. And so I'm telling you, with Josh Dobbs showing he is actually a competent starter, he's going to find Zach Ertz quite a bit today. Fire him up if he's on your bench. If you're looking for a spot start, say your tight end is on a bye week or he's hurt. Say you have Pat Freiermuth, who has been an absolute disappointment throughout the first third of the season.
Yep.
Fire up Zach Ertz.
Here's that stat for you. So this week the Rams are 28th to the tight end position. They're giving up 12.8 points per week. So fire him up. Another couple good matchups. Logan Thomas against Atlanta. They're 31st in tight end allowed. Yeah. So there's another one there as well.
Yep. And Logan Thomas is just another example of that first year starter security blanket type thing. Logan Thomas has regained fantasy relevance in a fashion that I don't think many people really saw coming.
Nope.
I certainly did.
Yeah, I did.
So,
but Zach Ertz's upcoming schedule gets a little more difficult. So just for those, taking what we say this week and moving it to next, he's got tough matchup next week against Seattle. They're 11th, and then Baltimore has given up the least amount of points to tight end.
Yeah. Well, I have the Titans Ravens game up over here too, and I sure hope nobody here started Ryan Tannehill because he just threw another pick. If you started Ravens defense, good job.
If you started Tannehill, you just probably need to retire from fantasy football together.
Either that or you're in a fucking 32-man league.
You better be in a 32-man league.
I've seen those things before, and it is insane.
I'd start Davis Mills over him.
That's fair. That's pretty fair.
He could get you negative points.
I was gonna say I would entertain starting Jordan Love on a bye week over him. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like yesterday, I got offered. Who was that? Who did man, I forgot. The guy picked him up and offered him to me, and I was like, well, I'd rather not go negative. I'd rather have a 0 in my lineup.
I forget who it. I can.
Dang it! The joke would have been funnier if you remembered.
I got it.
It's not funny anymore.
Oh, there's me saying Tim Tebow is a better running back than Madison. Hold on.
It's not funny anymore.
There's my Jay Ajayi supremacy comment. Hold on.
Our chats gets crazy, bro. Crazy lit. Here's to hoping Kyle Pitts can have a good game, but he's playing against Washington, so I'm not too confident in that.
Yeah,
they're the 6th least points given up to tight ends. So not fun, but it's all good. Don't worry about it.
Why do I have to scroll this far?
I don't know. Don't worry.
I give up.
Yeah,
I give up. Okay, let's get into our sits.
Let's get into those. What do you say?
I am here for maybe another 10-20 minutes before I have to get bounced out of here. So let's go ahead and let's get into our sponsor segment here before we get into our sits.
Hey-o.
Go ahead and talk to us about GG Seasoning, Justin. I'll pull up the graphic.
Pull her on up. I got a bottle right here. I got a few bottles on deck. Sending them out to my family. I will say I have tried. I don't know if I pointed this out last week, but when I went and re-upped on the bottles, I've tried the new formula. It is they added salt. MSG is great for you, so please do. I mean, not for you, but it's great for your food and your palate. So, but anyways, yeah, so I actually cooked up some meatballs the other day, and I actually cooked up some ground beef yesterday, just trying it out with just that. Because before I was using a little bit of salt with my stuff, but much more saltier now. So it's, I mean, literally can put just that on my food and everything's good. So again, Matt, my buddy Matt Berger, otherwise known as Hebro, this is his spot. His wife created the seasoning herself. His wife Gigi, Senegal and beyond. She's from Senegal. But yeah, I think there's a lot for you to like in the seasoning and a lot for you to like on the shop. So please, if y'all get a chance, go over there. You can use CheesyCorn for 10% off at checkout. And everybody, if you want to help out, just buy a bottle and just see what you think. One bottle don't hurt, and I can send samples as well. So yep, thank y'all. CheesyCorn at checkout for 10% off of GG's seasoning.
And for some reason, my Instagram logged me out desktop wise, so I can't
Okay.
pull up the post.
Here's GG seasoning.
Boom. You guys see it. Use code CheesyCorn at checkout for 10% off.
And
GG seasoning is the official seasoning.
It has been used.
CheesyCorn Sports. Yes, sir. A good friend of mine, actually, he once told me that MSG really stands for make shit good. So
yeah, I agree.
And so yeah,
Asians still use it. Asians know flavor.
Yeah, it's actually
Can
funny.
I say that?
Well, no, it's funny because my good friend that I'm talking about is Asian, so he's the one that unveiled that secret to me. So
yep,
absolutely love that.
Yep.
Okay, so before we move on as well, just want to give a quick shout out to both Justin and Mai's other projects that we're working on. Justin, weekly, the voice of college football on the Nebraska channel. He does weekly live post-game reactions as well as interviews with former Husker player Chancellor Brewington, in addition to other personalities throughout the Nebraska Husker YouTube community. Some really
Chancellor
good
got some seasoning, by the way, so y'all better get some.
Yeah, absolutely. So make sure to go give Justin a follow on his other socials for the Voice of College Football. He's there every single week. Whether you're a fan of Nebraska, a fan of the Big Ten, or just really just appreciate a good analytical look at college football, that's the way to go.
And I try not to be biased on there, so everybody comes in, you're going to get a legitimate breakdown analysis of the game.
And if you're looking for a more entertainment,
fourth and one, baby,
fictional side,
4th and 1
of the college football world, over on YouTube at Chain Gang Games, is the NCAA Dynasty Series 4th and 1. Basically created 8 fictional college football teams, put them all in the same conference, and the CPU goes and battles it out with each other. And I provide some color commentary, play-by-play, and we have a good time inserting some memes and some dry humor into that as well.
Fun. Yeah, and I didn't even know what they were going for there. And I watched the 4th and 1 series. I texted Cheney and I was like, it's the perfect combination of dry humor with the funny, editing and stuff like that. So it's a great balance. It's super funny.
For sure. Appreciate that. So we'll go ahead and get those channels linked into the comments as well, just so you guys have a look. Yeah. Any likes, subscribes, whatever. We appreciate all of you. But let's get back to fantasy football, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right. Let's get into our sits of the week, and I will start things off here with Jared Goff at Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay has been rather surprising this year, for me at least. Not just Baker Mayfield in the offense, but defensively as well. They're looking a lot more resemblant of that defense that Tom Brady had the year they won the Super Bowl. Levante David as well is really just leading the charge. Antoine Winfield Jr. at safety. They have a rather resilient defense, and it's actually really cool to see a team that no one really had on their radar this year come in and do their thing. But talking about Jared Goff specifically, he's been having a great follow-up year to last year. Very happy for that. However, he does not do that great on the road. Yeah. I actually think his fantasy numbers, or actually his numbers in general, are almost cut in half on a per game basis when he's on the road versus at home.
That's great.
So you put those two things together. If you have to start him, you have to start him. But in most leagues, there should be a better option. Matthew Stafford is only rostered in like 2/3 of leagues. So you could very well be in one of those like leagues that has Matthew Stafford on the waiver wire, or you can acquire him for pretty cheap. Although I don't know if you're going to be making deals an hour before kickoff. But hey, you got to do what you got to do, right? So Jared Goff is my sit of the week.
All right. Are we moving to mine?
Yes, sir. I'm pulling it up right now.
All right, cool.
Go nuts.
So mine is Dak Prescott. It's not even a matchup play. Because actually Chargers 29th in the league giving up points to quarterback, but it's a Dak Prescott thing, not really confident in what I'm not buying what he's selling right now. I just don't, it's like Dak Prescott just never gets it right. And no matter what the team is around him, no matter what they look like world beaters, it's just like CJ Stroud, sorry. Dak Prescott has been mad inconsistent. It's just like he can't take that next step. I don't know what it is to get over the hump to be, a quarterback that can lead a team to a Super Bowl. I don't see that. So I don't expect a good week from this week. I think the Chargers control that game, but I was almost going to go Herbert just because Dallas's pass defense is so good, but I just think Herbert is going to get his no matter what. Not buying Dak right now. So it's more so me being low on him than a matchup thing. But Dak Prescott.
I think it's rather funny that the second that Dak goes into a game and the commentators start to go in on, Dak has only thrown one pick this year, immediately throws 3.
And
I'm
probably going to reverse jinx him, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in all fairness, right? Like, if anything, people, they were riding the Dallas Cowboys cycle, which is the thing they go through every year, right? They start off hot against bad teams. Everyone hypes them up. All the fucking Dallas fans, this is our year, Dallas Cowboys for life.
Yep.
And then they play a good team and they absolutely shit the bed.
Yep.
And then it's, we're on to next year. Dak's not a good quarterback. Well, guess what? You play the Giants again. So I'm sure that cycle is going to come right back around. You're still going to go 9-8, 10-7, 11-6, whatever it is. You're still going to make the playoffs because the NFC is weak, and the hype's going to come right back around, just like it does every year. I'm happy to see them, lose this way when they do, but all it told me is that the Dallas Cowboys are still the Dallas Cowboys, and Mike McCarthy is still Mike McCarthy. And the one thing that I always agree with Stephen A. Smith on is that the Dallas Cowboys are garbage.
Agreed, Derek. Said Dak every week. He's out.
Dak yeah. Because even in the games that Dallas blows out their opponent, Dak doesn't get you fantasy points.
No.
Because it's the defense scoring 2 touchdowns and then Tony Pollard getting in on a goal line carry.
They're like an NFL version of Michigan, in my opinion. They keep everything really structured. They try to control the game, limit possessions. It's never inducive of fantasy points. That's a reason why CeeDee Lamb, who I believe should be in a tier with Jamar Chase, doesn't get the upside we want him to get. If he was on a different offense, we'd look at CeeDee Lamb completely different. But
They just need to start my boy Trey Lance at this point. He's fantasy god waiting to happen.
I can't deal with that. The last thing I need is Trey Lance to be a fantasy asset as much as y'all already love him or infamously love him.
Trey Lance could go to the XFL and I will still sing his praises.
Facts. Dude's a free agent. Will still be on your team.
Absolutely. Okay. Let's get into running back sits of the week.
Do we do our wide receiver?
What's that?
Do we do wide receivers yet or no?
I was going QB, running back, wide receiver, tight end. RB. It pains me. This is my boy.
It's a good one.
Rachaad White against the Detroit Lions. I think everyone is finally starting to come to the realization that this is not the same Detroit Lions defense that it was last year.
Them boys stop the run, don't they?
They stop the run 100%. Alex Anzalone has resurged in this Detroit defense. Aiden Hutchinson basically out there playing positionless football, which is wild. He gets picks, sacks, fumbles.
You see what I posted today?
Everything.
See what I posted today? That Hutchinson has more interceptions than Sauce, Stingley, like those other 4 guys that were picked in the top 5. More interceptions than corners. That's absurd.
Yeah. Now, for people that love to jump to conclusions and take things out of context, that is not either of us saying that Aiden Hutchinson is a better cornerback or a better coverage.
No, they don't target. Like I said on that post, they don't go after Sauce's side of the field typically. Yes. And Stingley has played a lot. Well, hasn't played a lot because he's been injured the majority of his career. Just like, I mean, we drafted him injured. So, but still 5 interceptions, I believe.
It is very rare that the top corners in the league actually lead the league in interceptions. Why? Right. Because their coverage is so good that quarterbacks don't throw them the ball that much.
Looking at you, Trayvon Diggs, there's a reason you still get targeted.
There's a reason Trayvon Diggs led the league in picks last year, which it's actually really sad because Trayvon Diggs actually progressed a lot in his coverage skills.
Yep.
And then he got hurt.
Yep. So, I agree. I think it was, but like back when he was doing that literally his scores were terrible. But
absolutely, agreed. But yeah, so Rachaad White. I mean, to make Rachaad White relevant this week, he's going to have to rely on receiving out of the backfield, and probably he needs a touchdown. Yeah. The usage that Tampa Bay is using for him is still elite.
Yes.
The efficiency is not quite there. And that leads me to be more hesitant on him during bad matchups and be more favorable for him during good matchups.
But outside of Cleveland, this is the worst matchup.
Yes. Yeah. I'm still a Rachaad White truther. I love my boy Rachaad White. I was actually trying to trade.
You've been on the Rachaad White train for a while.
100%.
Before he was, since last year's offseason.
Yep, absolutely. So, but I was also that way with Kalen Ballage coming out of ASU.
Yeah, but that's an ASU guy.
So is Rachaad White.
Oh, that's true. I mean,
that's why I knew his name.
ASU like that, bro.
It's funny because there's several names that come out of ASU that like nobody even realizes they went to ASU. Brandon Ayuk.
Yep.
Brandon Ayuk's the big one.
Because I remember coming out of the draft for the first couple of years, everybody thought he was a bust.
Everyone thought he was going to be another N'Keal Harry.
The 49ers changed that.
Yep. Brandon Ayuk is definitely the best Arizona State player to come into the pros over the last 10 years. So, but only second to Brock Osweiler. I knew you would like that. Okay, let's get into your sit of the week running backs.
My sit of the week is going to be Zach Moss versus Jacksonville for a couple of reasons. One of them being, of course, JT is going to be getting more touches. Also, he has a horrible matchup this week against Jacksonville. They top 10 in stopping the run. So I think Jonathan Taylor not only gets integrated more, but also the next 3 games are tough. They got Jacksonville, Cleveland, and New Orleans. All of those are top 10, 5. We have 7, 5th, and 4 as ranked run defenses. So Jonathan Taylor, I feel like, is going to be increasing his touches because I don't think Zach Moss is going to be able to be efficient. And I think they're just going to, as these difficult games come up and Zach Moss gets stopped, it's going to be more of Taylor. So I think that starts this week.
Yep, I agree with you there. Just want to interject here real quick. Malik Willis is in at quarterback for the Tennessee Titans.
Oh, Liberty.
Only
Liberty,
down by 8
Liberty.
with 10.5 to go in the fourth. So
Liberty.
I wasn't paying attention to the game, so I don't know if Tannehill got hurt or if he's just a bum.
He's a bum.
I mean, both are very plausible.
Malik's a bum too, but Liberty.
Yeah. Tannehill's an established bum. Malik is an unproven bum.
Yeah, but Tannehill played at Texas A&M. Screw him more. Malik played at Liberty.
Wide receiver sits of the week. And here we go. Terry McLaurin.
Scary Terry.
Up against the ATL, the Atlanta Falcons. It's another one of those defenses that has been surprisingly good against opposing wide receivers in terms of fantasy production.
I'm gonna grab a water.
Okay. There's really not much to say on it. Terry McLaurin had that big week a couple weeks ago in which you probably should have sold high on Terry just for the name value alone. But it's increasingly becoming more of Sam Howell, Brian Robinson Jr., and Logan Thomas. And then Jahan Dotson, Curtis Samuel, and Terry McLaurin are kind of being forced to fight for targets the rest of the way. So sometimes Terry gets more targets. Sometimes Jahan Dotson gets more. Curtis Samuel is getting a lot more of that gadget work that Ron Rivera has been kind of promising for like 3 seasons now.
Yep.
But there's no consistency when it comes to who the wide receiver 1 is in this offense. Talent-wise, I think it's still Terry, but Jahan Dotson is no, Derek, this one's me. One's me.
I hate McLaurin. I've never been a freaking McLaurin
Which
fan.
Is actually surprising to me coming from Ohio State. So
yeah, but I mean, I got an eye for talent, that ain't it.
There you go. Can't argue with the eye test.
Not at all.
So yeah, Terry McLaurin, my sit of the week. It's not going to be his week. Not against Atlanta. All right. Justin, talk to us about Hollywood.
All right. Well, Hollywood's going to have a bad week, guys. Going against a Rams defense, 5th to opposing wide receivers. So not a huge Hollywood fan. I had it as Christian Kirk early, but again, I think Christian Kirk might get involved more. But this is a much actual text start McLaurin every week. Absolutely not. Never said that in my life. But yeah, Hollywood Brown, not in for a good game. Yeah, like I said, top 5 opposing pass offense. I'm not a big Hollywood Brown believer anyways, so go ahead and sit that man on the pine, please, next to the water cooler.
All right. So we do have a question. Nick J, thank you for the question. Thanks for coming into the show.
Thank you, Nick J.
Born in starting Sam Laporta or Logan Thomas. Not sure how much production Laporta can do with the hurt calf.
Yep.
I'll take this one to start.
Yep.
I'm probably leaning Logan Thomas this week.
I am too.
I talked about Jared Goff and how much he struggles on the road. And Sam Laporta, you're talking about the hurt calf.
And a tough matchup. Top 10
tough matchup.
Man, they're right neck and neck, dude.
And
where I have them. But I think, I Laporta is definitely the better tight end. Nobody's doubting that.
Yep.
A top 10 defensive opponent as far as points to tight ends given up. Logan Thomas is going against second to worst in terms of points given up to tight ends. So Matchups in Logan Thomas's favor, talents in Laporta's favor. I still think I might lean Laporta, but I 100% with the calf injury, that's the only thing that's making me lean a little bit Logan Thomas. If Laporta didn't have an injury designation, 100% I would pick him, but that's why it's a toss up. So,
I'm leaning Thomas, but it's not as definitive as I would like it to be.
No, but you're not. I don't think you're wrong for starting Thomas. I'd much rather start. I mean, regardless, they're both going to be, I think, good weeks. I just think you run the risk of Laporta re-aggravating something if you start him.
Absolutely. Thank you for the question, Nick. Nathan, welcome into the show. Says, I have Pitts, Ertz, and Njoku on waivers. I have Waller, but I'm nervous to play him with that bad old line. You should be. Should I grab and start from the waivers? Well, let me revert back to both of our mutual tight end start of the week. Mr. Zach Ertz against the LA Rams.
Pitts has a really tough matchup.
Yeah. Njoku still coming back kind of from the burn stuff, which Justin, I don't know if you saw Cooper's comment in.
Oh no, I didn't.
I don't know. It's absolutely wild that David Njoku can come back from facial burns faster than Saquon Barkley can come back from an ankle injury.
But Saquon's like legs are just permanently
made
like
of
glass. It's like my right bicep, dude.
Yeah.
Just always tears.
Yeah. And as far as Kyle Pitts goes, like obviously the talent supersedes all of them, but Arthur Smith absolutely hates fantasy football. I'm convinced. And he is doing this on purpose at this point to punish us. So,
And I will say that, like, I do agree that Waller has a tough matchup, but if I'm choosing the order of these guys, Waller and Ertz are, let's see, Waller 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9th, and I have Ertz 10th, 11th, 12th. So, but yeah, I think I like Ertz's matchup much better. Again, the Rams 28th points given up to the tight end position, and then Buffalo 3rd least. So
we'll also keep in mind that Deshaun Watson is not playing this week again.
Well, that makes them better.
Thompson Robinson. So I think
that makes them better.
Right. If I had to list them, it's probably going Ertz, Waller, Pitts, Njoku for me. But yeah, I'm not saying drop Waller for Ertz.
Unless you're in my league,
you have that roster spot, go pick up Ertz, and then you can start him over Waller this week.
Yep.
So that's kind of the play for me, at least.
Agreed.
All right. Derek says, I assume you'd suggest starting Michael Thomas over Hollywood in PP.
No.
Actually, no.
No, Marquise is my sit of the week based on like where people probably would normal rate. I'm lower than consensus, but I'm still higher on him than Michael Thomas.
Yeah, Michael Thomas actually, he was one of the people I was flirting with at first sit of the week at receiver. He's not. I don't like his matchup today.
Our defense is tough, bro. Like people are sleeping on our defense, bro.
Yeah.
Texans.
I'm relying on Chris Olave to finally get the targets that he so willingly deserves.
I think Olave will have an okay week. I do.
I need Olave to start getting touchdowns again.
I'm avoiding.
That dude had 12 targets in each of like his first 3 weeks with no touchdowns, and it was abysmal.
You got to love the slant god, though. But still, Hollywood is.
You really don't.
The guy.
You don't have to.
It's a fun meme name, you know.
Absolutely. Shout out CJ Gardner-Johnson, by the way, calling him Slant Boy in practice and getting punched.
Where they break out the meme of the actual play, quick slants from video games.
Yeah. All right. So what haven't we done? We talked about so we're on tight end sits of the week.
Tight end sits. Yep.
Cool. So we talked about this a little bit earlier with our talk about the security blanket type stuff.
Yep.
And you actually said it before I even had a chance to, where CJ Stroud is kind of like the outlier in terms of that rookie first-year starter needing his security blanket.
Correct.
New Orleans, their linebacking core, just the guys that they put in the box as well as their safeties, that middle of the field is basically locked up.
Yeah.
And so unless Dalton Schultz can find himself in the end zone here, personally, I am not feeling good about starting Dalton Schultz this week. He's my sit of the week. He'll have better weeks to come. He did come off of a nice week, I think a week or two ago, but he's my sit of the week for reasons of CJ Stroud going to be feeding Nico Collins today. It's going to be a lot of Dameon Pierce this week as well.
And a rough one.
And to me, this game's not going to have a lot of structure as it gets further into the game. It's going to be a more figure out what is working against this defense and then just like attack that.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're gonna see. But Dalton Schultz, my sit of the week. Go ahead and talk to us here. This hurts to see, actually.
But like the thing is, most people would probably disagree. Because most people have them in their top 5. I just think the Jets have been sneaky lately. Defensively, especially gets tight in position. So going over like the entire season's worth, they're like last in points given up tight end. So that's usually a pretty good thing. I think Dallas Goedert, I don't necessarily think he's going to completely get shut down, but I wanted to go something outside the box and not just be like, I want to sit Hunter Henry. So I do think Dallas Goedert will do below consensus, where they have him. But, if you have, George Kittle, Evan Ingram type of guy, Jake Ferguson, I'd start those guys over.
For sure. Yeah, I don't hate that logic either. I'm really hoping that the Eagles just kind of start the game the way they started last week, where facilitate to Dallas Goedert. Don't let Jalen Hurts read the defense. Just fucking get Dallas Goedert the ball. And it worked like a charm last week.
Yep.
Dude had 14 fantasy points for me.
This could blow up in my face. I'm trying to be outside the box, and this could really blow up.
No, I get it. And I think that's ultimately what I want to start trying to do with these starts and sits each week is find those guys outside of the obvious ones and go from there, right?
Exactly. Tough with running back and tight end, but a little easier with tight end than running back.
Right. All right. Nick with another question. So for Houston, if Tank Dell doesn't play, should I consider starting Nico Collins over Jalen Waddle? I think Waddle's going to have a big game.
It's funny, but I got, if you pull up my rankings, I actually replaced Waddle. So I had a Waddle at 9, and then I ended up liking Calvin Ridley's matchup a little better. So I moved Calvin Ridley up, and then I wanted to move Nico into the top 10 with Tank Dell being out, and I moved him to 9. However, Jalen Waddle's 11. So, and I am a Texans fan.
Yeah.
So keep that in account. But I do, Nico is the reason I have him high again is because he is the guy in that offense, especially with Tank Dell out.
Right.
When Tank Dell's there, it's a different story. It's a mixed bag.
Yeah.
But I haven't been a huge fan of what Jalen Waddle's done this season. I personally have Nico Collins ranked higher. So if it was me, I'd start Nico.
Yeah, so I'm gonna play the old devil's advocate here for a week.
I'm probably on an island there, but
right,
I feel it.
So Jalen Waddle, he missed week 3. So for the first 3 of the 4 weeks that he did play, he was only getting 5-6 targets, 4 catches a game. He was getting you okay numbers in between like 8 and 12 PPR fantasy points a week. That's not what you drafted him for, right? No. Or in my case, it's not what I traded for him for. Last week, the targets shot up. He went up to 10 targets, but he only had 5 catches and 35 yards. Did have a touchdown to salvage it, putting up his season high output of 14.5 fantasy points. That's still not what you want. I want to see those two things get pulled together, right?
They're big favorites too. They're 14-point favorites. So you got to think that they might be playing with the lead, but it's Miami. So sometimes it don't matter, but it's still like, playing from the lead versus playing from behind, you'd rather them kind of like be in a close game,
Yeah. So I'm rolling Waddle still. And I'm rolling Waddle on the assumption that the snap count finally is back up.
Panthers are tough too.
80% plus. The Panthers, one of the worst against the pass. The Dolphins don't care about game script.
They're solid against the pass.
Are they?
Against the wide receiver position. As far as fantasy points goes, yeah.
Okay. All
right. They're 7th. So,
okay.
but Nico has a tougher matchup.
Right.
Well, and New Orleans 14th. So not tougher, but you got to understand, like me personally, I bumped Nico up high because I'm very high on him. So consensus has Waddle, of course, higher. But again, I think a consensus has Waddle higher because consensus likes to stay with the same guys up there. They're not willing to move one of these guys above a Waddle, because Waddle's a top 15 receiver. We can't move Nico, who's like a top 20 receiver above Jalen. BS. Nico's on the top. I like to see the world burn.
What I'm looking for this week out of Jalen Waddle, I'm looking for those 10 targets again, or 8 to 10 targets. I'm looking for the efficiency in those targets to go up because he went from an 80% catch rate on his targets to 50% last week, which is not good. So I need that efficiency to go up with the targets.
Yes, sir.
I need the yards to go back to what they were weeks 1 and 2, where he had 78 and 86 respectively. And then a touchdown. Again, that would be great. Miami doesn't.
Touchdowns are good.
Miami doesn't listen to game scripts, right? We saw that in the Denver game. They don't give a shit what the score is. They're going to run their offense. Yes. Now, you don't have Devon Achane again, or you don't have Devon Achane. So you're going to.
Is it Achane or A-Chain? I've been calling him A-Chain.
As per Devon himself.
Who cares about what he thinks?
It's Achane.
All right. Well, I'm not listening to him on how to say it.
It's the.
I can't say Achane. Was it?
It's A-Chan.
Achane.
Yeah.
A-Chan. Yeah, I agree, Nick. Nico is a boomer bust guy. Yeah. Waddle has the higher floor, in my opinion. Yeah, for sure. I agree with that.
So I think Waddle's getting you anywhere from 10 to 15. Nico can get you anywhere from 6 to 30.
Facts.
That's how it is. So if you're playing the number 1 team in the league this week, personally, I don't think that really merits anything. It's more of what are they looking to do this week?
Yep.
Don't worry about their record from previous weeks, especially because we're still in that first half of the season. So a team that's 4-1 now could easily go 1-4 over the next 5 weeks.
Yep.
Especially with the way that injuries and stuff are hitting a lot of teams.
Yep. And so going over some efficiency numbers, if you want me to go through
sure.
to kind of for your point here, efficiency, target accuracy. Jalen Waddle was 37th, 32nd for Nico.
Mm-hmm.
Yards per route run, 29th for Jalen, 5th for Nico Collins, which yards per route run is very, very conducive to fantasy points. We got, let me see. Sorry, let me expand this. True catch rate, 94.4% for Jalen Waddle, number 33rd in the league, and then 40th for Nico. So mixed bag there. It looks like the efficiency numbers lean more towards Nico across the board. Target separation, stuff like that. 48th and 54th. Average cushion, they're giving Nico more cushion. Target premium, he's top 10. Waddle's 85th. Dominator rating, which is the how much of your offense, total offense, that you account for, and his is absurd. 34.7 for Nico, and 17%, 55th for Waddle, and that has a lot to do with Tyreek being the guy. But yeah, very much kind of what we said. Still higher floor, definitely for Waddle, but definitely boom potential for Nico.
Yep.
Because he is the number 1 this week.
Yeah. All right. I really got to get out of here soon. So let's go over our locks and underdogs of the week. And then I can roll out, and then you can finish up with the last 30, 20 minutes of start sit questions.
Did this man, I missed this. This man really come in? This man Got my hopes up. Asked me if I really want Akers, but asked me if I wanted the dang running back because I was desperate because I got a 0 in my RB2 position. And he offered Tyreek. Well, I mean, he offered to take Tyreek for Cam Akers. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's
wow.
go.
Yeah, wow. That's what I said too.
Let's get into my underdog of the week. And it's a game that we have actually talked about quite a bit so far in today's show. We got the Texans. We got the Texans at home with the New Orleans Saints. 1.5 point underdogs as per
Derek?
1.5 point favorites. The Saints are as per Caesars Sportsbook as of last night.
See that, Derek?
You can get the Texans at like plus 130 money line odds.
At your bank account.
Yeah, I personally, Texans for me, they have been playing outstanding. Even in games they lose, like I don't think they should have lost that Atlanta game last week.
No.
That was an impressive last drive or second to last drive by CJ Stroud.
But I loved to see that. I mean,
yeah,
that when he had the ball last, he drove us down the field and he did his job. The defense gave it up.
Well, so that's something that CJ Stroud did that Jordan Love failed to do actually in multiple games this year. Green Bay has been in so many close, low-scoring games and just haven't been able to move the ball on that last go-ahead, like, game-winning drive.
Right.
So, obviously, I'm not, like, saying that, like, that's going to be, like, the thing for years to come or whatever, but that's one thing that I'm really looking for Jordan Love to start improving on as time goes along. But
Jordan Love's not looking that good. Sorry.
No. Past 2 weeks have been rough.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I'm glad for two things. I'm glad for the bye week to get everyone rested, healthy, back on the same page, as well as I'm glad for facing Denver next week.
My condolences on Jordan
Hopefully we
Love.
have Denver for the get right.
R.I.P. Jordan Love.
All right, let's get into your underdog of the week, which you said is also your lock of the week. Is that right? No. No, you had separate ones.
No, no. Yeah, no. My lock of the week is an underdog, though. That was what I pointed out. Commanders at Falcons. Falcons are a -1.5 favorite. Commanders, again, good sometimes, bad sometimes. Very good, very bad, depending on when you're watching. So, but I do think the Falcons, I was not impressed with the Falcons last week whatsoever against the Texans. Not at all. Our offense literally could not do anything for the majority of that game because we could not get the run game going. Not impressed at all. I do like the Commanders more. I think the Commanders win this game. It's simple as that. I don't have confidence in the Falcons this week.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you have your star rookie running back like almost tied for his season low on touches. They got to get Bijan the ball more. They cannot let that offense flow through Desmond Ridder. That's not how you win games.
Yep.
You put in big time games, you put the ball in the hands of your big time players. That's how it goes.
Yep.
George, thank you for the question. Tua or Fields?
Tua. I know Fields is our QB start of the week. I have Tua number 2 though.
Okay.
On my QB rankings. I have Josh Allen and Tua.
Yep. That's one of those where it's like Justin Fields has started to play well enough to kind of get back into that like QB1 territory.
Above consensus, and I think this is going to be his best week yet. However, he's not going to beat out my like top 3 guys.
But Tua is one of those that entered QB1 territory and has not left.
I drafted him because I had so much faith. You remember our coming into the season rankings, I had him like 7th or 8th, dude.
Mm-hmm.
People were sleeping on him because of a concussion, bro. A box. Like I've had concussions. They don't take that long to recover from. I don't know what everybody was tripping about. Like they don't understand the brain. Tua's fine.
I think everyone was just reacting to the I guess the visual of it.
No, but again, like even all offseason, people were like knocking him down to rankings. I'm like, none of you understand head trauma,
Right.
It's not a good thing that I do because I get it, but it's making me more normal. But still, like Doesn't matter. That shit's gone. So,
all right.
fine. He's
Let's
good.
get into. I'm gonna roll through our locks of the week, and then I'm gonna have to get out of here, unfortunately. And then you will have the floor for questions if you want to bring in callers and stuff. I'm actually bummed that I didn't get to be here for any.
Oh, it's all good. We got like 30 minutes, so we'll probably just roll with it as is.
Sure.
For today.
My lock of the week: Jacksonville Jaguars up against the Colts. I see our producer down there in the bottom.
He likes it. He likes it.
Absolutely getting hype right now over the Indianapolis Colts. There is talk of Anthony Richardson having season-ending surgery on his shoulder.
It's almost like we said running quarterback's going to get hurt if all you do is run the ball.
Yep.
Don't care how big he is. The NFL big guy.
Yep. But the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence, and Calvin Ridley and ETN and all of them over Gardner Minshew. And I think Josh Downs and Pittman are still going to eat, but it's going to be the Jags by -4 pretty easily.
I don't like Pittman or Downs, dude. I want no part of the Indy offense, dude. I don't even want Jonathan Taylor right now. I called him Jothanen Taylor. I don't even know how I messed that one up. That's more difficult to say, Jothanen.
All right. Talk to us about your lock of the week, which is also an underdog.
Corn's lock of the week. Yes, Chargers beat the Cowboys for obvious reasons. The Cowboys are sputtering right now. Not a fan of anything going on in Cowboy Nation. I'm typically a huge fan of CeeDee Lamb, but Dak Prescott's throwing the ball. So absolutely not. I mean, of course, you're still starting CD, but CD should be honestly in like tier 2 with Jamar Chase, in my opinion, and he can't get there because of Dak. So, yeah, I like the way Herbert's been playing this year. I think he's going to have a good game. I just think Dak is going to make 1 or 2 mistakes that lose them the game. So that is my lock of the week.
Yeah. Herbert's been absolutely flying outside of week 4 against Vegas.
If only his defense would help him.
Had 400 yards passing week 3 and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. Was that the game they lost? Which one was the game where the defense just completely gave him no help?
Yeah. Not to mention, he also has 3 rushing touchdowns on the year in 4 games.
Yep.
So
it's all QB in the league, man. Just give him the ball and lean forward.
Yeah. Which is crazy because he still is sitting at QB 11 on the year. But that isn't, on him. That is, there are so many quarterbacks in the league. Like, in my opinion, there are like 15 top 10 quarterbacks in the league.
Yep.
Like the talent is so like across the board that by default, you're going to have some guys that are just not there.
Herbert's top 5 for me consistently. Yeah. Like if I had to do like a quarterback rest of season rankings, I'd probably have him top 5.
Sure, for sure. So
Patrick Mahomes won't be in there. I mean, for good reason. He looks like shit.
No comment.
He is shit. Fuck his horse. Oh, never mind. Sorry. I can't.
No comment.
Yeah, I'll shut up before I get us banned.
All right. Justin, go ahead and take over here. I got to get off here and I got to get rolling into work.
Appreciate your service. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Sorry, Grandma and Grandpa.
This will probably be the norm going forward, where I'm on here for an hour and a half or so, and then I got to roll in. Because so
now y'all got to hang out with my dumb ass.
I tried to alleviate the pain as much as possible. I only gave you 25 minutes.
They had to do a whole ass episode with me last week. All right, you calm down.
It's true. I was at work. I was spamming the comments. I thought Corey was going to ban me for a minute, but
should have. It would have been so funny if YouTube would have just banned you for spam.
Right. It's all right. I have multiple Gmail accounts. I can.
All right, get off here so you can get to work.
All right, everyone.
You know how Amazon is. They'll fire you for anything.
Trash cans better watch out. That's all.
Talking about these? No, I'm just playing. No, he's talking about the ones at Amazon. But yeah. I digress. All right, get out of here.
All right, everyone,
Appreciate
have a wonderful, wonderful week in fantasy. Unless you're playing me, then you can eat shit, and you're going to be at the bottom of the leaderboard.
Yeah, good thing I'm not playing you, or else I would.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy.
No dedication. Damn, Grandma, you reading that?
I have comments that I want to say to him, but I can't for legal purposes.
That's tough, huh? When the chat can come at you and you got to hold your tongue. Tough.
I feel like you go through that every week on Nebraska, your post game lives.
Hey, bro.
I feel
that's just
tough. My last note on
that's
this, right?
tough sometimes.
I feel like there's two sets of Husker fans, just like there's two sets of Packer fans, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
There are the ones that are optimistic and like to find the silver lining in the little things.
Yep.
And then there's the others that are so just fucking miserable with the L that all they want to do is just talk shit on their favorite team, which is mind-blowing to me. And so
we're 3-3. We had 4 wins last year. I don't know what they expect.
Right.
We're not going to go back to the 90s.
Yeah. I'm sorry you guys didn't beat Michigan.
Yeah. By the way, Michigan won against Minnesota like 56-10 last week, and they won yesterday like 56-7.
Yeah.
They're giving up less than 7 points per game. It's absurd. But they're so good.
Yeah. All right, folks. I will catch you guys next week. I don't really have an outro outside of that. So, later.
Martin Cheney. Cheese is now exiting the building. Okay, there you go. All right, perfect ending there. See ya. All right, guys. We do have the call-in link open. So you do not have to have a camera. You do need a mic. If you want to use a camera, you can. Just go ahead and dial in right there at the link. Click in. You'll hop in the studio here. We will see you at the bottom, and we will bring you in for a discussion. You don't need to be an expert in fantasy. If you want to talk ball, come on here, talk ball. If you want to talk trash, come on here, talk trash. It's all welcome here. Just don't get us banned off Twitter. So no, have your clothes on, okay? Preferably. And I think that's about all we need to stay alive. So, yep, go ahead and call in if you have questions or whatever. And I'm going to run through a couple of the other matchups that I'm not necessarily a fan of this week. Tough matchups this week. Running back position. All right. Let me bring up my notes here. Okay, cool. So this week, Raheem Mostert, great matchup. Okay, so Carolina Panthers giving up second to most fantasy points to running back. Raheem Mostert is a definite start this year or this week. Breece Hall going against Philly, the toughest run defense. Not saying Breece Hall will have a bad game, but Breece Hall is down at my RB 20 right now. So just to keep that in mind for anybody who has Breece in and maybe another top 20 guy in there. Dameon Pierce sit. Again, our offense is really not able to run the ball right now. Our run blocking is horrible. So Dameon Pierce is going to be a definite sit. Brian Robinson going against Atlanta is a sit. And of course, my sit of the week was Zach Moss. Got to sit him. Zach Moss is going to be phased out of this offense slowly. I do still think he's going to split carries, but again, top 7 matchup this week against the run. So very, very tough matchup there. I was going to say, give Henry the damn ball. Titans were at the 1 and tried to pass 3 times. Yeah, so I'm not able to actually keep up with that game. So I'm guessing Tennessee is still losing. Did Malik in there now, and it's a whole bunch of the same? Because that would not surprise me at all. Actually, let me pull that up real quick. Let me see what we got there. I'm gonna pull it up, but I got some more stuff I'm gonna go through here because we are running out of time. All right, I'll pull that up and check in a second. Okay, so let's run through again my top rankings here. So I'm gonna pull these up on the screen. Boom. Okay. Top 10 QBs. We have Allen. As I mentioned earlier, I have Tua, number 2. Tua is going to have it's funny because Tyreek, it's a top 10 defense against wide receivers. Tyreek Hill is still the consensus number 1 across the board. It's almost like that offense just can't be contained. You can just hope to kind of stall it as much as possible and score points. Jalen Hurts, number 3, Lamar 4, Patrick Mahomes is terrible. Justin Fields 6. I actually would probably move Fields above Mahomes now that I think about it. Herbert, Burrow, Trevor Lawrence, Duval. What's up, Corey? You like that? And then Matt Stafford, who was my compadre Cheese's start of the week. So he's sliding in my top 10 as well. Top 10 running backs. Christian McCaffrey, Austin Eckler. Got Austin Eckler above consensus. I think he is going to have a field day. ETN is my start of the week. Tony Pollard. Great matchup. Don't trust the offense, though. But he's still number 4. Raheem Mostert is going to have a ridiculous game. He is in a great matchup, like I said earlier. Montgomery, Jacobs, Kyron Williams, who has been excellent this year. Kyron Williams, number 9, and Alvin Kamara, number 10. I hate putting Alvin Kamara anywhere near a top 10 because I don't like Alvin Kamara. But there's that. Let me get in check. KJ Osborne, Chris Godwin, do a play it safe start Chuba, or do I wait till the later games and play Saquon? So, all right. So I'll start with the first one. KJ Osborne versus Godwin. I'm probably gonna go. I would say I do think Addison's going to get the majority of the touches, and I think Hawkinson is going to be second. I almost feel better about going Chris Godwin. So, gun to my head, I'm probably picking Chris Godwin. And then Chuba or wait till later games to play Saquon. So it's really hard when you have Saquon to not play him. However, I do have Chuba Hubbard ranked above him in my rankings. So they're both around 20 to 25-ish. I can't give you the exact rankings unless I count. But I would play it safe, go with Chuba Hubbard. Miles Sanders is out, so he's going to be getting a lot of touches. Miami gives up the 19 most points to fantasy running backs, and their game script is probably going to be them playing from behind. So Chuba Hubbard might get some pretty good target volume as well. So I am picking Chuba Hubbard there. Olave or Ayuk? I like Ayuk. I do like Ayuk. Ayuk has been impressed me this season more so than I had him ranked in my consensus rankings. I was wrong on him. But I have Ayuk ranked this week around 20th. And then where do I have Olave? So I have Olave 15th and Ayuk 25th. So Detroit, Cleveland they give up the least amount of points to wide receivers. So that is a terrible matchup. Also, Olave, I don't necessarily think the Texans are a tough matchup as well. Not quite as tough. And I think Olave is just going to get, we're top 3 in pass defense and yards allowed to receivers, but I think Olave this week is going to just be the guy. And I think he's just going to get a ton of targets. And so I have Olave 5 spots ahead of him for what that's worth. So I probably go Olave. Tua or Matt Stafford? Tua. I have Tua as QB2, Matt Stafford as QB10. So Tua for sure. Laporta or Ingram? So this one's tough because we have Laporta nursing a calf injury. So he's questionable with a calf injury. Ingram is my 4th ranked tight end, and Laporta is my 6th ranked tight end. And then Laporta has the injury designation. So I'm going Ingram there. Again, if y'all want to call in or, pop in the show and talk a little bit, we got about 15 minutes to game time. So we can get y'all on here a little bit. Appreciate you stopping in, Derek. Appreciate you coming in as always. Lockett, Wilson, Ford, Scary Terry for flex, and Logan Thomas or Hunter Henry at tight end. Okay. I hate Terry. Absolutely hate him. I think in this instance, I have to go Wilson. And then for a flex, Logan Thomas or Hunter Henry, let me see where I got Logan Thomas. Logan Thomas is my tight end 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, he's my tight end 10. Really good matchup for him this week. I'm picking Logan Thomas over Hunter Henry. Atlanta gives up their 31st in points allowed to tight ends. So great matchup. I do think Logan Thomas is going to have a huge week. So appreciate the questions as always, Hunter and Gin and Toxic. Appreciate y'all, man. So what's up? What's going on, man? What's up? Start 2 full PPR: Wandale, Curtis Samuel, Jerome Ford, Zach Moss. Okay, so I'm a huge Wandale guy. This week I'm on the fence about him, but I still think I would fire him up out of these, and then Curtis Samuel, Jerome Ford. Curtis Samuel. Very close. But I'm thinking Wandale, Curtis Samuel, or Wandale, Jerome Ford. But Zach Moss, the reason I'm keeping Zach Moss out, again, he was my running back sit of the week. I do think Jonathan Taylor is a terrible matchup. Jonathan Taylor is also going to be getting integrated more and more, and that starts this week. So Zach Moss is my sit of the week. I would go Wandale and Curtis Samuel, or Wandale and Jerome Ford, but I'm leaning towards Wandale and Samuel just because I prefer to have wide receivers there. I think the wide receivers give you the most upside potential because there's more wide receivers that have boom weeks than running backs. Simple as that. What defense should I pick up on waivers? No Falcons. I have the Jets. I wonder what do you have open on waivers though? I'm curious of that because I'm trying to think of some good matchups that from defenses that may be on your waiver wire. So Atlanta, I don't like them as a defense. Jets are 18th on my rankings. Not a huge fan of their matchup. Jets, 5th. They're going against the Eagles. I do like the Commanders matchup, of course. The Vikings matchup, I don't like. Atlanta, I actually do like. So no Falcons, meaning. So yeah, this is just a matter of me. Trish, I need to know what's on your waiver wire. Raiders against New England's also a sneaky play. So yeah, if you can give me an update on what's on your waiver wire, that'll help. All right, guys, we got about 10 minutes left until we wrap the show. Again, if anybody wants to give a call in, go ahead and call in and give your opinions, talk whatever you want to do. I'm trying to look at more defenses here since I don't have another question coming in. Yeah, I mean, out of the teams that are out of the outside of the top 10, I would say Vegas versus New England. Because, that would be one that I probably foresee being on your waiver wire as is. So, yep. All right, cool. So we'll get back into a little more of my rankings here. I think we're on running backs. Let's go to wide receivers. All right. At 1, Tyreek Hill, because Tyreek Hill is going to be number 1 until somebody says otherwise, even in a tough matchup this week. Stephon Diggs, obvious reasons. Cooper Kupp, Cooper Kupp last week, I brought it up earlier. I think he had 8 catches, and 5 of those came on the first drive. The game was extremely shortened. They were trying to keep the ball away from the Rams, and when the Rams would get the ball, they would go 3 and out. It was just a long game of them not being able to do much. Again, I think Cooper Kupp has a much bigger game this week because, again, 5 out of the 6 targets on the first drive were to him. And it had 57 yards in that first drive. And then again, only 3 catches for the remainder of the game. Expect the difference. This week, I dropped Puka down a little bit. He's outside of my top 10, looking in barely. Keenan Allen, you know what you get. PPR guy, PPR monster, always has been. Keenan Allen is the sure-handed guy. They go to him on first, second, and third down, fourth down, whatever. Keenan Allen's the guy. 5th, Jamar Chase. I wanted to move him higher. Just want to see another week of good play from him and Joe Burrow. CeeDee Lamb, number 6. CeeDee Lamb, man. Like I said, he's a product of, his inefficiency and his lack of upside is a product of Dak Prescott. Sad. AJ Brown, obvious reasons again. Amon-Ra St. Brown, PPR monster. Nico Collins, as I said earlier, I like his upside this week. Tank Dell is out with a concussion, so I am comfortably firing up Nico. And I have him top 10 again. I think he has maybe not quite as high as a floor as a lot of these guys, and even some of the guys are outside the top 10. But I do think the margin for error has him in the top 10. I do think like the standard deviation, he will be, he's a good play for sure, because Tank and him have been the guy, one or the other. Now with Tank out with the concussion, it's Nico's show. So, and at number 10, Calvin Ridley is going to slowly be starting to, take some more targets. Christian Kirk, still a great play. PPR, great play. Him and Calvin Ridley has still been, even splitting the targets. Where Ridley had, more targets some weeks. Christian Kirk had more targets some week. It was throwing people off. Ridley had a great game last week, and I think it's going to be a balance of those. So yeah, just a lot to go around in that Jacksonville offense right now. So that is my rankings. We got about 7 minutes to the game. So what defense should we? Okay, so it's still the same question. 7 minutes to the game. Again, our sponsor here, CheesyCorn Sports, is GG Seasoning. Again, Senegal and beyond. This seasoning my buddy's wife has created and is excellent. I highly recommend. Give it a shot. Let us know what you think, and use CheesyCorn for 10% off at checkout. All right, guys. Well, I am probably going to hop off here so we can get to these games. No more questions coming in. I got to set my lineup up. I did not do that before the show due to audio issues. So thanks everybody who joined in, who's asking questions. And again, a big shout out to Cheney for holding it down with us for as long as he could. So everybody tune in next week, 8:00 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, 2 hours before the game, wherever you are. Join us here. We will answer all your questions, trades. If you want to bring anything here, go ahead and do that. But that is all from me, Corn, signing out, and I will see y'all next week. Peace.